Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Is anybody out there? Hello, can you guys hear me? Will you comment if you can hear me? Thanks for coming back. Yes, that's good. Denny, if you can request to join us. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Thanks for being patient. Denny, can you send a request, my good man? All right. I'm going to try to request Denny. Okay. Oh, hang on. All right, guys. Sorry. All right. Okay, Denny is coming on.
I'm here.
Dude, it's so funny. It's hard every single time. Like, the audio goes out every single time. It's always so strange.
It's all right.
Someone pointed out earlier, you were actually talking about something really serious, but your hair is making an amazing wave.
I know.
Someone pointed that out. It goes with the surfboard behind you.
Surfing / no barber.
Dude, you got to live it up. My waves, the wave days are gone, so you got to live it up.
All right, I'm doing
Man,
it.
thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
And I want to say again, if you have a question for Denny about his work with Peace Club, it could be about mental health, addiction, recovery. We're psyched to have him back on for a few more minutes, so we would love to get to some of your questions. I thought of one. I wonder, like, you have had such an interesting journey, even your career. You kind of talked about how it's not like you knew that you would be doing this work when you were 20 years old, and kind of you've had these turns in your career and sort of felt this calling and pursued it. And I wonder, do you feel like you've learned anything in the last few weeks as we've navigated this time that, as you touched on, it's unlike anything we've experienced before. I just wonder if in this recovery work that you have committed to, I wonder if you've been thinking about anything or learned anything in the last few weeks.
It's a good question. I think I've realized how much we miss the common, or the what's the word I'm looking for? The predictable. We miss we miss knowing what we're waking up to and who's going to be there. I'm realizing how much we miss people and connection. And it's, in some ways, I think it's a correction to the way things have been. So people would argue that this has been one of the best economic positions, not now, but over the past couple of years that we've been in a long time, as a country, at least in the States, and in some ways the world. And yet we were lonelier than we probably ever imagined. And we were undergoing mental health crises, like opioid crises, drug and alcohol crises. So society was not delivering on the goods that it was presenting. And so now we're in this position where we're longing for connection, we're longing for stability, we're longing for a normal life. And we can't control that. And so it's kind of frustrating, because we want our lives to look a certain way and we can't control what that looks like right now. So it's an odd place to exist. And, I'm kind of seeing the world right now through the lens of mental health, and realizing that most of the world is in the fight, flight, or freeze disposition right now. So we're all responding to these events in our world in different ways. And the common component, like at a deep biological level, is that our brains are on fire, trying to understand what's next. And
Yeah.
so it's so imperative that we do anchor ourselves in some meaningful way to people and to our physical place and to some coping skills. Otherwise, the lostness that we have experienced at a deep existential level over the past however many years is going to be exacerbated um, by destructive patterns that will emerge, and I'm seeing emerge in people's lives now. So that was kind of heavy, but I mean, yeah, I think we need to start from a position of compassion toward ourselves.
Yeah.
JP said something about that struck me. He was saying something about how he hasn't found routines and rituals or like a rhythm yet, and I think that was really awesome for him to be honest about that. But he said he's showing, like, he's kind of giving himself grace or compassion.
Sure.
Because we're all stumbling through this together, and we're all trying to find our way through it, and we're not perfect at it, and we might, I mean, there's a lot of parents out there that are trying to, like we are, me and my wife, trying to have careers and keep things going, and also teach our child who's home. And so, there's moments where it's really hard, and
Yeah.
We just have to show compassion to ourselves and others
Yeah.
as a starting place.
That's so good, man. There's one question I've been sitting on, and so I want to ask you this, and then we'll get to a few more questions from other folks, if that's okay. But if someone is watching, and maybe it's the first time in their life, or it's the first time in years, and they're just going, man, I need to get sober, but I don't even know if that's possible right now in this season, in the midst of quarantine and distancing and businesses closed, what would you say to someone in that place?
Well, I mean, I would say that there is that addiction, and the consequences of addiction is not going to slow down. If anything, it's going to ramp up right now. And so I have come across some people that said, it's just not, I can't do this right now. Can't put in the work. There's just too much going on, and they've resigned to that. But it's not going to get better, and it has to start somewhere, and it can start now. And I think that's the lie that certainly the addictive brain wants us to believe. That is that we can't start right now in this world. We can't possibly be sober in this world. I can't even manage my life as it is, let alone in a pandemic.
Sure.
So that is a lie. There's a reality to it, but there are ways to get help now. There are facilities, especially like detox facilities, which is often the first place that people start with substance use recovery, that are admitting patients, and that properly screen and do what they can to protect the environment. But addiction is for most people in addiction recovery, it's probably going to be, I'm not a doctor, but it's probably going to be a more severe crisis in their life than this virus. That's kind of the reality of it for most of the population. So especially when we're talking about opioid recovery, I mean, people are dying all the time from opioid overdose. And so I would just encourage that person to reach out to somebody and have a conversation with somebody who can help them navigate this, even if it is, I'm going to give it a few weeks, even if that's the conversation, like at least have it with somebody who's a professional who can help guide that.
Yeah.
So
Does the telehealth aspect, does that make it possible for someone to connect with a professional, even for the first time in this moment, in this season?
Yeah, there's a lot of programs right now that are 100% virtual and doing it all through telehealth. They're doing full programs through telehealth. So, yeah, I mean, that's a better solution than isolating from people and going deeper into your addiction, for sure. So yeah, it's possible. It's not ideal. It's definitely not ideal. It's kind of clunky. I mean, look at us just trying to get on Instagram. And
Totally.
it's a clunky experience.
Yeah.
But
it's worth it, right?
It's better. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, man. You have time for a couple questions from these folks? All right. Speaking of clunky, okay, we got it. All right. This is a good one. Can you see it? Do you ever find it hard to be a counselor as someone who is also in recovery? That's such a good question.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for the most part, it's a gift that I can pull from to understand and empathize and connect. But it's a risk because I'm being exposed to people's stories that are very similar to my own, and the brain has a way of remembering the addiction experience, and so I have to be precautious for sure. So I would say that's the hardest part, is just like learning to separate myself and my experiences from the past, from other people's, and often reminding myself, the consequences of it all. But yeah, it's definitely more risky than with the mental health side. The mental health side, because like I was saying earlier, I've had struggles with mental health. So the addiction side, I feel like, is more, that one creates more need to be vigilant, for sure. So.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you guys for your questions. If you still have a few minutes, if you want to submit a question for Denny. Let's see. When they're long, the words are so small. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. What do you suggest to do for someone struggling to be in the same house they grew up in and triggering memories and emotions?
Say that one more time.
What do you suggest for people who are maybe home in the house they grew up in and there are triggering memories, maybe even painful or even abusive relationships as people are stuck together right now?
Yeah. So, I mean, 100%, the person needs to connect with a counselor, ideally somebody who's skilled in trauma therapy. You can go to an EMDR, the International EMDR website will pull up a bunch of different credentialed, certified EMDR therapists. But yeah, you're basically, trying to exist with a bunch of landmines, like emotional landmines around you. And it's environmentally going to be toxic. So yeah, that's a hard place to be in, and it's a unique place to be in right now, because in the past they probably were able to, remove themselves from those situations and go take a walk, go to work, do whatever. Yeah. So those coping skills are no longer accessible. So new coping skills have to be pulled from, or else it's going to feel like hell.
Yeah.
So reaching out to somebody who works in the area of trauma, or if they already have a therapist, to reconnect with them. A lot of people have therapists that they've lost touch with that they can reconnect with. And also a lot of people have had therapists and they were going weekly, and then all this happened and things just got shook up enough where the therapist is try and find their grounding, and it might be time to reconnect with the therapist and say, hey, I want to meet. So.
Hey, Lindsay, your wife, asked, how can focusing on breathing help in a simple way?
So, okay. So outside of just reaching out to a counselor and letting a counselor guide you, I would say that use the tools that you do have right now, which is your breath and your body. So a lot of the way that trauma works specifically is that memories are associated with other memories. Environmental sensations and experiences get associated with other memories that activate the chronic stress, the PTSD component. So using your breath is a way to anchor yourself in the present moment. And it's a simple way to bring yourself back to the present moment. Often people get stuck up in their head, and they're stuck in the world of memories and fears and anxiety. And in that moment, we have to remember our breath, because it's a physical part that can actually decrease the stress hormones and help ground us. So, but you can use your breath. You can also use just simple, like walking around your house, or if you can walk outside.
Yeah.
But grounding yourself, like in your body, feeling the actual earth beneath you, will take you from your trauma brain, so to speak, back into your body and ground you. So,
and even I know my counselor, who sometimes she'll have me identify objects or things in the room.
Yeah. There's something called it's like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique, where you identify 5 sounds around you. You identify 4 things that you can touch, then 3 things that you can smell, 2 things that you can hear, and then the last one, you ground yourself and like notice your body.
Yeah.
Sitting wherever you are, or standing wherever you are, with your feet on the ground, connecting with the ground. And that's a simple, like, basically it's a movement through all the senses to bring grounding to your whole self.
Yeah.
So
I imagine there's probably information about that online, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Someone
There's
asked
a million meditations out there.
LeBron
LeBron James is doing meditations even. So
did you come up with emotional landmines?
yes, that's in my upcoming book. When I'm 50 years old, I'm
called Emotional Landmines.
Yeah.
So there was a comment or two where people were like, "Man, that's good." So maybe we'll do one more question if that's okay. Let's see. Well, here's one for you. Can you talk about how oxytocin suppresses your dopamine addiction?
Okay, so that is a good question. So,
or do you want to even explain the question a little bit?
How does oxytocin suppress your opioid addiction? That's the question. So, there's basically a handful of neurochemicals that impact our mood. Norepinephrine is one, dopamine is one, serotonin is one. Opioids affect certain systems in the brain, primarily the dopamine system, which makes you motivated, excited, makes you want to go do stuff and be happy and look forward to life. Oxytocin is a newer neurochemical-ish that's been studied over the past, more heavily over the past 10, 20 years. And they call it the love chemical. It's what gives us a sense of connection to others. It's the neurochemical that's released when we look into someone we love's eyes, like holding a baby. And so what that can actually do is it can tap into other dopamine systems and make us feel connected, make us feel grounded, make us feel like we're a part of society, a part of other.
Oh, we might have lost him for a moment. Hopefully, Denny. Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. You're back. We just lost you for a moment.
So it can, so oxytocin, connection with other people, giving people hugs, things like that can boost oxytocin. And it can make you feel more connected and happier. And in opioid recovery, you start to feel alienated and disconnected from society. So oxytocin can actually help, like, bring you back in those ways. So there's probably other ways too, but that's as nerdy as I can get with that right now.
Sure. Thank you, man. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Thank you for being flexible and breaking it into 2 parts.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun.
I try to tell you every so often, but I'm proud of you, proud of your story, proud of the family that you've created, and just grateful for the work that you do. I know it's not easy, and I know it's even harder right now. So
yeah,
thank you
man.
for sticking with it. And man, thanks for sharing your wisdom and your story with us today. I saw a lot of grateful comments. And with that, we're gonna leave it here. So thank you to JP. Thank you again to Denny. I want to remind you, May 16th is the date for our virtual Run For It 5K. You can find more information on the website, also in the online store. Our To Write Love on Our Arms online store is where we sell the virtual packs. So I think last I heard, we have over 1,300 people already signed up. So we're excited. If you can safely walk, run, participate, we love it. If not, we understand. Again, there's going to be a fundraising opportunity, or there is a fundraising opportunity. We'll be talking more about that in the days ahead. You can learn more on our site. Want to remind you about the Fear Won't Win landing page. Just things that we hope can be hopeful, encouraging. Again, podcast episodes, blog posts. We lost Denny. Denny pieced out. But beyond that, we have some self-care suggestions. There's a little self-care button in the top right corner, and there's also a find help button next to that in the top right corner. And so again, you can find national hotlines. We talk a lot about crisis text line. You can find online support groups, but you can also find local mental health resources, including free and reduced rate services. And in this moment, you can find resources related to COVID-19. So not only mental health, but financial resources, food resources. So we know that basic needs are part of our overall health. It's part of our mental health. And so we love how the Find Help tool has evolved, and we love being able to share that. If you have questions about getting help, you can email findhelp@TWLOHA.com. And if you have a general question for our team about the organization, how to get involved, you can email info@TWLOHA.com. And last but not least, I want to celebrate our Skullcandy Partnership. Skullcandy, a few days ago, launched their new Mood Boost campaign. And it's exclusive products, exclusive, unique colorways, available on skullcandy.com. And To Write Love on Our Arms is their nonprofit partner. We are the beneficiary of this Mood Boost campaign. I saw a comment the other day where someone said, hey, if I don't love this first product, will there be more? There will. There will be a new product bundle every single month. And so it's exciting that not only will there be a new product, but it's tied to a positive mood. And certainly the whole connection, why we get excited, is that we know music is powerful as it relates to hope, as it relates to recovery, helping us feel less alone, hearing a song that feels honest, that we relate to. So we love music. It's part of our DNA. It goes back to the foundation of the organization. And so we are so excited to be partnering with Skullcandy. And again, that's their Mood Boost campaign. You can find a lot more about it on their site, on their Instagram, and we are grateful to them. And I'm going to leave it here. Again, the hope is that this time together would be an encouragement, that you would feel less alone. Thank you. It was such a treat to get to talk to JP and to have him play a couple songs for us. And again, if you haven't heard their enormous hit single. It's called If the World Was Ending, and you can find that pretty much everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, or even on the radio. You guys stay safe, stay healthy. Oh, one other thing. Next Tuesday, which I believe is April 14th, that's our next TWLOHA at Home Instagram Live. And I will be joined by Michelle Moore, who is a licensed mental health counselor from Solace Counseling in Orlando. Longtime friend, longtime voice of wisdom. So Michelle Moore will be with us, and then Propaganda will be joining us as well. So our incredible friend who is a hip hop and spoken word artist, he will be joining us from Los Angeles. And so we've got another good show coming up on Tuesday, and then you're going to hear from some other voices within the To Write Love on Our Arms team after that. So again, thank you guys so much. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you soon.